right. Dun, 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 dun.
So this is one of my first big introductions to Ennio Morricone. Or Ennio Morricone, the composer.
He did the score for The Thing, but that was huh?
He did part of Solo, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, did he? Huh. I didn't notice that.
I'm pretty sure I brought it up.
You might have. I might have just forgotten about it.
I mean, I've seen, I'm pretty sure he did... Did he do the Hateful Eight, or did they just play a song that he did? I'm not sure, but
I'm pretty sure he scored the Hateful Eight.
So I've seen a couple of his, but this was the big one, the big trilogy.
Yeah.
And,
the soundtrack in these movies are fucking awesome.
They are. They're really good. They might be my favorite part.
Yeah, the same here, honestly. Yeah, this was interesting. I hadn't seen A Fistful of Dollars or For a Few Dollars More since I was a kid. The last time I had watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was right after I graduated high school, so...
Okay. Yeah, so today we'll be talking about the spaghetti western trilogy of all trilogies that's not really even a trilogy, but it's loosely defined as a trilogy.
Yeah.
Because theoretically, Clint Eastwood plays the same character in it. Known as...
According to Sergio Leone, he doesn't, but from a marketing standpoint, it's a trilogy. The Man with No Name trilogy, or the Dollars trilogy, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Man with No Name, Dollars. I think I saw one other name that some people call it, and I'm just gonna call it the Funny Trilogy.
Yeah, I usually just refer to it as the Dollars.
But yeah, we'll get into that soon, but before that, let's just chill, let's talk.
Yeah.
I've been up for 24 hours, didn't go to bed last night, I played Smite for 12 hours straight.
Nice. I've only played very little of Smite.
I was surprised. Pierre got it kind of as a goof, and I was like, sure, I'll get it because it's free. And then I'm like, this is great. Smite's great.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I enjoyed it. I was a little thrown off because I was used to League at that point, and it's first person. So I was like, is it third person? Yeah.
I was actually talking to Pierre the first. I'm like, what if this was in first person?
But yeah, no, I enjoyed the little bit I had played of it, but I haven't played in a couple years, and I was never super into it when I was.
Well, if we get it again, me and Pierre will play with you.
Okay. I've been super involved in Red Dead pretty much all week.
Thematically, close to what we're doing, so...
Yeah, that's cool. Why I picked this for this week, because I assumed I would be in the mood for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how's Red Dead been?
Oh, it's fucking great. I love it.
You're playing the second one, right?
Yeah.
Have you played the first one?
I haven't beat the first one. I played, maybe 30% of the first one, back around the time it came out. So it's been a while. I'm gonna jump into it after this, but there's been some leaks and rumors that early next year they're doing a full remake in the engine, because the coding for the original game is a shitty mess. So they can't port it to PC or anything. So they're just remaking it and adding in bits to make it more cohesive with the second story. That's the rumors, at least. It hasn't been confirmed by Rockstar, but it seems all signs point to yes, Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
I've been watching some stuff from the We Are One Film Festival, which is the YouTube partnered with a bunch of other film festival stuff to be hey, you want to add some stuff? And I haven't watched a ton because I've been just kind of busy this week.
Yeah.
But, there's been some really good ones. I watched Crazy World, which is the latest Hollywood film. That was great, but I really like all three Hollywood films I've seen. This is probably the lowest rated one I liked. I gave it an 8. But it's... I don't know if it's just... They're starting to wear on me a bit, just the I don't know, but I think it's just I just didn't think this one was as good. I still thought it was pretty great. I had a lot of fun with it, but just not as good as Who Killed Captain Alex or Bad Black.
Okay.
And then I think all the other full-length films I've seen from there, I think I only watched 2 others. They sucked.
Okay.
One of them was called The Bridges of Sarajevo or whatever. Yeah, Sarajevo. And it's an anthology film, and Jean-Luc Godard did a piece for it.
Oh, okay.
So that was the first thing that was my first experience with Godard.
Yeah, he seems to have taken, like... I haven't, like, looked super deep, but I know he did... I think it was him that did that, like, weird 3D movie, like, a few years back, where it's, like, 2 scenes playing, like, simultaneously. I think that was him. I'd have to look that up. I know it was one of, like, the French New Wave directors.
But yeah, his one was okay, I guess, but that whole movie in general kind of sucked.
Yeah, Goodbye to Language is the movie I was talking about.
Oh.
That's,
I'll have to watch that one.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty interesting. I haven't seen it, though. But yeah. Huh. I watched that Egg.
Yeah, Egg sucked.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a fan of Egg.
But there's been a lot of... There's a really fantastic stop-motion short. It's called Cerulia? I think it's pronounced that way. It's fantastic. It's really, really good.
Okay.
You should watch that one right after the podcast.
Okay, so let me write it in the chat. Cerulia.
Cerulia.
I already spelled it. What was it?
Cerulia. Everyone should watch it.
Okay. Well, got that there, so I'll check that out. I didn't watch it in full. I ended up getting, like, partly distracted, but I watched part of that one short you recommended. The one about the dude trying to get money to go to I don't know, some guy he's talking to on his phone, I presume. I don't remember the name of it. I'd have to look. What was that called? Search through my history here.
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
One of the shorts. Yeah, like he's talking to some, like, bald dude on the phone. He's like, "Oh, you want to see my dick?" And he's like, "Sure, why not?" And then he goes, "Oh, it's called The Distance Between Us and the Sky."
That happens like that's like the first, like, minute of it. And
yeah,
like that's okay. Well, yeah, that one's great.
I'll finish that one. Yeah, I just kind of got, like, I ended up pausing in a couple minutes and using the bathroom or something.
Dicks.
Oh yeah.
Men, gross.
Yucky.
Yeah, but there's been some good ones. I watched Inherent Vice, the Paul Thomas Anderson film, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Pretty much everyone we're doing this weird little marathon thing. I joined a random Discord where they're doing that. And nobody liked it but me, pretty much. And I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots. I didn't say that, and I don't really think that, but man, they're missing out. That movie's good.
I remember enjoying it. My Blu-rays came this week, so once I'm, like, finished with Red Dead 2, I'll probably watch that and Phantom Thread, since those are...
Yes.
Well, I've seen Inherent Vice, but it's been a while. But I haven't seen Phantom Thread yet, and it's like, really want to see it. I'm kind of upset, though, because I can't say for certain, because I haven't seen it, but I hear that, like... Because it's, like, the movie that Daniel Day-Lewis, like, retired on. And I hear that it's not, like a huge accomplishment in his, like, performance, but I'm sure it's probably good, at least. But
well, I mean, you can't... Once you've reached perfection,
what
else can you do?
It would be very hard to top There Will Be
Blood. Haven't even seen I think the only thing I've seen of Daniel Day-Lewis is There Will Be Blood.
I've seen him in other stuff. He's in like the Gangs of New York.
He's in Lincoln. He plays Lincoln.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I want to see it though. Just simply for the Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah, he's really like not in a whole lot. Like he's got a pretty small body of work. So
yeah, it's probably just all incredible.
Yeah, hopefully.
He's in Gandhi. About Gandhi.
Yes. Huh. Here. I will be right back. I really have to use the bathroom.
Got him.
So, you can keep talking or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, keep talking.
Okay.
So let's talk about some of the great movies I watched. If you are interested. Actually, the festival will have ended by the time this podcast goes out. But pretty much all of these should be available either free on YouTube somewhere or on video on demand. I definitely recommend you checking out at least a couple of these because they were pretty fantastic. So I already mentioned Cerulia. The Procession is another one, or Le Cortège. Came out in 2019. It's another animated movie about... It's like a woman... It's being told through the perspective of a love letter from after her death kind of thing. It's fantastic. It looks really good. There's some really fun music in it, and the tonal shifts of the music are like super jarring, but it fits really well thematically. So I had so much fun with that. Like, that was the second best thing I saw. Thomas mentioned briefly The Distance Between Us and the Sky. That is a really, really good short. It's really pretty. Both of the main actors in it have super good natural chemistry. So I would super, super recommend that one. Just don't fucking ride your motorcycle like that, because that's not good. Crazy World, like I said, watch that. Watch Who Killed Captain Alex and Bad Black. They're both free on YouTube on the official With Hollywood YouTube channel. And then if you have the money, go to their website, buy one of their other movies, because I think they have like 3 other movies that you can buy. I know I will once I have a job again.
They've got a like Blu-ray double pack with like their first 2 movies that you can buy.
Yeah. And yeah, those are the top ones. All right, Thomas, welcome back from your piss.
Yes, I am back.
All right. That's actually pretty much all I watched this week. Just stuff from there. Oh, I did watch Ichi the Killer.
Oh, how was it?
I really liked it. It's the first like Takashi Miike movie that I like thoroughly enjoyed. Because the other ones that I've seen, most of them I've like been like, yeah, this has its moments. I like parts of this or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I'm like, yeah, this is really fun. It's just like the action and the fucking sound design is so fucking good. There's a lot of like gore in it. And I'm like, I'm so desensitized to like gore in movies. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But the sound in it is so good. It actually made like my skin crawl. I was like, whoa.
Oh, okay.
But fuck. A lot of the characters fucking sucked. And they like really dragged down the movie. Besides like the 2 like main characters, they were great. But a lot of the side characters they spent way too much time on. I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah.
But gives me hope for Takashi Miike. I'm really excited. I do really want to watch Audition and the last movie, or I don't know if this was like the last movie you made or if you made another recently. But First Love from last year I've heard is really good as well.
Okay.
So I want to get more into him. Yeah. I think I watched another Pokemon movie. Oh yeah, I watched the second Pokemon movie. So I've been going through those.
Oh,
they
nice.
Suck.
The second one is in like the second one of that reboot thing that you were watching, or like
no, we already watched. We already watched
the second
both of those.
actual Pokemon movie.
We watched. Yeah, so I've seen the reboot 2. I've seen the original 2, and I've seen the remake of the first.
I don't
like
think
the CG remake.
I don't think I've ever watched the second Pokemon movie. It's remember
the one with the legendary birds. Articuno.
The only ones I recall watching, I remember watching the original one, the third one, and then one with, like, I forget the name of the Pokemon, but the one with, like, the little, like, star Pokemon. It's a later movie, like a star Pokemon. It's got, like, a star head. And I think Deoxys, is that the name of, like, that red and blue one? Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that one. And I think that was all I watched for Pokemon movies. I was pretty much only into, like, the original series as a kid, and then I kind of, like, fell out of it. Because I was like, what the heck? Ash isn't traveling with Misty or Brock anymore.
True.
Unsubscribe. I watched a little bit with May, I think. But once Brock was gone, it was like, I can't go on. This isn't the same show.
Brock's not even... Misty's in it quite a bit. Brock leaves pretty early. It's very devastating.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I'm like, Brock's literally the best.
We did watch the special. So there's a 1 hour special that like is kind of, it's a direct sequel to the first movie. It's Mewtwo Returns, and that's where.
Have you seen the meme where Brock's like, "Oh, it's raining. What am I going to do?" He's like, "I can turn my frying pan into a drying pan." That's what that's from.
Oh, okay.
And
I always thought that was
looked at each other.
Random episode
meme.
Yeah. Iconic.
Yeah, that's about it.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, pretty much just been like jumping in between like the news cycle and Red Dead for the most part. It's been my week.
Oh, and we are watching more Lost, of course. We're almost done with season 1.
Oh, nice.
Man, season 1's really... I want to say it's really good, but I do have problems with it, but I am really enjoying rewatching it.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed...
yeah. You should watch it.
You should watch Lost sometime. Give it a go. Give it a whirl.
I might check it out at some point.
It's shorter than One Piece.
It is. I mean, I'm not like... Well, okay, I can't say I'm not like re-watching One Piece, because I'm not currently, but I'm sure it'll happen in the future. I don't know about the whole anime, but the manga, though, for sure. But yeah. Okay. You wanna...
Question time.
Huh?
Question time.
Oh, questions, yes. I always forget about questions until you bring them up.
I need you to go on Google real quick.
Oh, okay.
And I need you to search up Pete Kingdom Hearts.
Is this like Pete from like Goofy?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
First question.
Can you take 5 or so minutes to talk about Pete's pants in Kingdom Hearts? Please. This is from Pierre.
Do you see his pants?
Yeah, it's like...
Do you see the zipper?
Okay, hold on. So, it's 2:14 currently, so I guess if we're gonna talk about his pants for 5 minutes... Yeah, so it looks like the zipper, at least from the front view, goes all the way around.
It goes all the way around.
Okay.
However, do you see the little clips, like, where it connects to, like his chest
shirt
area? Yeah.
Yeah. Or some, like, suspenders.
I'm pretty sure that's how you take off the pants. So, I'm trying to figure out why there's a giant zipper on it that goes all the way around. Does he want to keep his pants on so he can take a shit?
I mean, that would be my assumption. He's a dog. He's
so,
probably on the move.
Why doesn't he just, like, have a flap? Why is it a zipper? Because how obnoxious would it be to pull the zipper all the way down and then reach back and pull it up on the other side?
See, maybe the flap, he's just like, you know, I want to make sure that I don't get any on my pants, and maybe he just thinks his, like... If the flap, there's not enough, like, room. So maybe he's just like, I just need to, like, split the pants. And, like, maybe he, like, pulls them So his cheeks are like very exposed and just like squats down.
Yeah,
lets
like
loose.
that's what I was thinking, but it's just like Tetsuya Nomura, I think is a psychopath.
I mean, to be honest, this whole character design seems a little unpractical. I mean, so it's pants and he's got like shoulder pads on. It's like the only padding he's got by the looks of it, aside from like maybe
he's
his
got
gloves.
those pockets.
All right. Well, I assume those were for holding things. Is there padding in there to protect him?
Maybe if he's holding things in there, that's like theoretically padding.
No, fair. What does he put in the pockets?
And why are they zippers? Like, what does he need to be carrying around that he needs to like keep it safe, like it won't fall out?
Maybe it's like, pocket meat, like Luffy.
Pocket meat.
Does Luffy carry around pocket meat?
If he can, sometimes.
I'm just like, and also, why aren't why are the pockets like not just on the pants? Why are they attached to the pants?
And looking at like where the zippers are, they look like they're like right, I don't know what you call the area, like the pube patch? Like the place like right above where your like penis is. I don't know what that's like scientifically called.
Scientifically it's called the pube patch.
But it's like they're like right on that. Or that, or they're just like, I don't know. These pants are pretty weird. We still got to talk 3 more minutes about them though, so
it actually, character designs in Kingdom Hearts make me actually angry.
Yeah. I could see that. I've seen very little of the designs because I haven't played through the games, but it seems pretty infuriating.
Don't. The storyline in Kingdom Hearts is like the worst thing ever made.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever be able to get into it because I'm not really super into like... I like Disney characters, but... I don't know.
You don't want them interacting with Final Fantasy-esque characters?
Yeah, it just seems like a weird blend to me. And I haven't played, like... I've played, like, a little bit, like, the tail beginning of both 7 and 4. And I really want to play through 4 soon. That's, like, on my
really good.
to-play list, probably, like, right after the Red Dead games. But, because I've been meaning to play that for a while. But, yeah, I don't know. Those pants, though, they are...
I'm gonna branch off from pants real quick. I want to talk about his arms.
Oh, okay.
So, like, he's wearing, like, full, like, black gloves that go up his arms, and then he has fingerless gloves over those?
Mm-hmm.
What? I think Pete's a psychopath. He's not to be trusted.
Yeah, and I'm not, obviously it's not, but... I'm just gonna say, he kind of looks like a Confederate with that pattern that's on his chest.
He does. Every time I see him, I'm just like, he wanted the slaves.
Oh, man. Fuck. Okay. I think I've exhausted this conversation on Pete's pants.
Question 2.
Different design where he's purple. What the heck? What's this one? It's got like a belt. No, superhero outfit. What is this?
Pete Kingdom Hearts.
It's like Index of Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep renders Disney Town. I don't know what this is. That's just what the label on the picture I'm looking at says.
I don't know, but I don't like that outfit either. But we're gonna save that for another day.
Yes.
Question number 2. What 2 franchises would you like to see crossover? Any 2 will do. What would the crossover be? A movie, show, game, Eminem album?
Well, Eminem, like, Meets the Punisher already happened, so I can cross that off my list.
It'd be two separate things that Eminem makes an album about.
Let's see. What are 2 franchises I would love to see blend?
Scooby-Doo in a Serbian film, probably.
Honestly, I would love to see a Scooby-Doo Lupin crossover. I think that would work so well. Like, I could picture, like, Fred teaming up with, I forget the name of the detective that's always after Lupin, but trying to, like, set a trap for him, and, like, they split up. Zeddy got it, yeah. And then fucking, like, I could see, like, Scooby and Shaggy traveling around with, like, Lupin, and maybe, like, Velma and Daphne are off with, like... Or maybe, like, I could see Daphne hanging out with Fujiko, and I could see Velma hanging out with Goemon. Is that the name of the samurai?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd watch that crossover. But yeah.
And Daisuke Jigen just gets to do nothing, I suppose.
He can hang out with
He can hang out with Scooby, actually.
Yeah. Shaggy
Scooby
will hang out with
have
Lupin.
their own adventure.
Shaggy can hang out with Lupin, and then yeah. Just yeah, I like that. Let's go with that. Okay, any more questions?
Of course, always 3 questions from Pierre.
Okay.
What is the strangest... Wait, did I say something? Oh yeah, I said Scooby-Doo and a Serbian film, but my actual answer would be Scooby-Doo and Memories of Murder.
There we go. Try to watch them find that serial killer.
What is the strangest non-toilet paper thing you have used to wipe up with in the restroom? The people must know.
Nothing. I've always used toilet paper.
I mean, the very strangest thing is, like, I was out of toilet paper once, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta go to the store. But I'm like, I'm not gonna just go to the store with a shitty ass, so I used paper towels. And then just put them in a separate bag and threw them in the dumpster, but...
I mean, I think the only time, like, I think there's maybe been, like...
I've been in the woods before, and I've had to take a shit, so I've used leaves, but, like...
Yeah, no, anytime I've had to poop, there's been toilet paper. I usually check to make sure there's toilet paper before I poop, and if there's not, I'll just wait until there is. But on the occasion, like, there's been, like, maybe once or twice in my life where I had to go and not wait for toilet paper, in which case I would just take a shower afterwards. But, yeah. There you go. The question everyone wanted to know the answer to. If you hear any weird squirting noise throughout this podcast, it's my water bottle.
Are you sure you're not touching your vagina?
I mean, okay, it's either that or my water bottle, but...
Alright, well, let's just get started. We're going to be talking about the trilogy that helped to popularize the spaghetti western genre.
Yes.
Like, they were things before,
but these movies really launched them into pop culture.
It's also catapulted Clint Eastwood's career and fucking... What's his name?
Lee Van Cleef?
Lee Van Cleef.
Or, I think that's his name. Let me double check and make sure.
Yeah, that... Lee Van Cleef.
Cleef. My bad. I've been meaning... Because I know he's a big, like, Western star. I've seen him in, like, Escape from New York. He's in that movie.
I've seen High Noon, which I know is a really popular Western. I thought it was decent. I saw that a while ago. He's like a background character. I was reading up about him. So, some sad news. He has a pretty, like, curved nose that I'm sure you've seen. He has a very defined face. And because of that, like, High Noon, I think it was High Noon, they wanted to put him in, like, the lead role. But they're like, no, you have to get work done on your nose if you want to do that. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. So they're like, okay, you're going to play, like, a nameless villain then. And because of that, like, look he has, he was just kind of made to play villains for a while.
Yeah.
And he was, like, pretty done.
He was like, you know what, I'm done. And then Mr. Leone comes in and he's like, you want to play the good guy for a few dollars more?
Yeah. And then shortly after was sent straight back to the villain role.
Yeah. But at least he got one. I mean, that did help popularize him enough to, like, get more roles.
Yeah. To be fair, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, despite what the title says, there is no good guy in that movie. All three of them are pretty despicable in their own ways.
Yeah. So last week you said that you thought two of these were great.
Yeah,
and one of them was okay.
Yeah, and
before we start, I would like to know, coming into this, what was the one that you were like, this one was just okay?
So as a kid, I remember really liking, obviously, like, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is one of the great ones. And then I remember also really liking For a Few Dollars More, and I thought that A Fistful of Dollars was just okay. But I kind of had, like, the flip reversal on it. Like, watching it now, I was like, A Fistful of Dollars was kind of... I felt like it had a bit more going on than For a Few Dollars More did. I felt like...
Wow, see, I'm the exact opposite. I was actually going to agree with your younger self. I'm like, I don't feel like A Fistful of Dollars has a whole lot going for it.
See, I found, like... I don't know. I just thought it was, like, more interesting watching him, like, kind of work these two sides and, like, just kind of, like, how he got out of it, as opposed to, like, just the typical, like... revenge story. Like, I don't know. I just wasn't like, oh geez, super impressed by it this time around. Well, I still like thought it was decent, but
well, I guess we'll talk about that more when we get there. But let's talk about the first one. Let's talk about first how it's a ripoff.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that when I was watching it. I found that out, like, I looked it up after, and I was like, oh, shit, I didn't realize that it was an unofficial remake of Yojimbo, or Yojimbo, however you pronounce it, from Akira Kurosawa, which I haven't seen. Oh, they did?
Yeah, they lost the lawsuit, I believe, too.
Oh, I didn't even realize there was a lawsuit about it. I just figured Westerns...
Yeah, it was...
I figured that there was just this
successful lawsuit by Toho.
Oh, okay. I just figured that there was this, like, precedent that, like, Western movies could just rip off Akira Kurosawa movies and get away with it. Because of, like, the Magnificent Seven and, like, shit like that.
Yeah. And I'm just like, come on. And, I mean, like, in general, like, I get it. I get the reason why. I feel like, in general, samurai films, stuff like that, from Japan, and Westerns have very, very similar themes. And it's just like, Westerns are literally just like, we can't make samurai movies. Let's just take these themes and just kind of, boop,
yeah,
boop, put it over here. Boop, we got cowboys.
I feel it.
However, The Magnificent Seven is a pretty good movie. Mostly due to a fantastic villain. Have you seen the original Magnificent Seven?
No, I haven't. Apparently, I didn't realize this, but apparently the actor for The Ugly, whose name I do not know off the top of my head.
He looks like Bruce Campbell.
I don't see that.
There are so many... He looks like Bruce Campbell. There were so many times I'm like, this guy looks like Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, no, that thought never crossed my mind, and to be honest, it's still not crossing. Let's see. What is his name? The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Eli Wallach, I think is how you pronounce it. But yeah, he was in The Magnificent Seven. Yeah.
Oh. He's in Mystic River, which is a Clint Eastwood directed movie like I really want to see.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either, but I want to see that one too.
I've only seen The Outlaw Josie Wales, which before today was my favorite Western.
I assume...
we'll see.
Okay.
What do you think? You think it was dethroned?
Huh?
Do you think it was dethroned? And if you do, what do you think it was dethroned by?
Well, I mean, I assume it was dethroned because you just said it was no longer your favorite Western, but
No, I said before today.
Oh, before today?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I'm implying that I'm going to go watch Rango again and give it a 9.
Maybe. I don't know. I figured maybe you like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly the best. I feel like that's the one that's got like the most going on in it. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
We will see. Okay. But yeah, so it's an unofficial remake of Yojimbo. And oh yeah, I guess there was the lawsuit. And yeah. It was released in 1964. It released over here in the States. 1967. They released the entire trilogy like right after The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly came out. And it had a budget of about $200,000, and it made like 14 million in admissions just in Italy and 14.5 million in the US and Canada. So, oh wait, no. Or yes, sorry. I thought I was looking at the wrong movie for a second, but I was looking at the right one. So yeah, that's not bad. It's pretty decent.
Pretty decent indeed.
So, the film begins with an awesome title sequence. I like the title sequences in these movies. With, like, the animation and the soundtrack.
All the title sequences. Really, really good.
And then we follow an unnamed stranger. They call him, like, Joe at one point in the movie, I guess. I missed that part, but I guess that's, like, what he's credited as, apparently. According to, what I was reading online. Yeah,
Weird.
Clint Eastwood as Joe, a.k.a. the man with no name. But, yeah, so I guess I'll just call him Joe for this one. He's got a different name in each one of these movies. But, so Joe arrives in San Miguel on a mule, and it's not the real one. It's like this, I'm pretty sure it's like a fake town that they made up, but it takes place like, or it's like in between the, Mexican and the United States border. And, let's see. He basically, like, as soon as he gets there, he just starts drinking from a well, and he witnesses a little kid trying to, like, sneak in to go see his mother, but he gets, like, kicked out and, like, shot at by, like, a gang of guys who are, like, holding her hostage. And yeah, so he kind of just witnesses that, and then goes about his business. He rides into town where some men shoot at his mule, and, I've been playing Red Dead all week, and I gotta say, like, I don't know, like, I feel like the move that he pulled here was not the move to make, because he just kind of, like, rides away, and then he just, like, grabs a wooden post and hangs from it, and it's like, dude, you would end up shot so fast. That is not a smart move. But anyway.
There's a lot of questionable choices that Clint Eastwood makes in, like, every movie in this trilogy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, what? How are you alive?
It's like, I don't...
I get that you're good with a gun, but you're also, like, an idiot.
Yeah. But anyway, so he basically, like, goes and talks to, this guy who's the town's innkeeper. His name is, Silvanito? Yeah. And basically he tells him about, like, there's a feud going on in the town. There's, like, two families. There's the Broho brothers, which is, like, a group of smugglers. And then there is the sheriff, his wife, Consuelo, and his son, Antonio. And then, yeah, those are the two sides. And he basically decides he's going to play each side. So he asks the innkeeper which one of the two groups is, like, the more powerful, which he responds, like, oh, probably the Brohos. So he goes over there, and he's like, hey, you know, I'm looking for work, but I gotta tell you, I'm not cheap. And then he goes over and he shoots the guys who were shooting at his mule earlier. And then the sheriff, like, pays him, and then he, like, walks over, and he goes and he meets with one of the Broho brothers. My bad, the Rojo brothers. I was saying the Broho.
I thought that was, like, a fun little thing you were doing. Like, I thought you were going to just start saying the Brohos instead of the Rojo brothers.
Nope. having a brain fart there. Anyway. So, yeah, I might do that for the rest of this, though, the brojos. So, yeah, he goes over and he talks with them, and they're basically like, yeah, we'll hire you, but we ain't got any work currently. So he's like, oh, okay. And he goes upstairs, and he's chilling there for a little bit, but he overhears, like, two of the brothers talking about him, and basically they're like, look, he's too dangerous not to have on our side, and the one who's like really eager to like just go and like shoot him in the back. He's like, no, don't. So then like he overhears this and he leaves. He's like, well, I don't want to be here if there's no work. So he kind of goes and he watches a massacre happen on like over by like the shore. There's like basically some soldiers were escorting like a chest of gold that they had planned to exchange for like some new rifles, and one of the Rojo brothers like shows up and like just massacres them with a big like it's Gatling gun, isn't it what that's called? I think so. Let me double check that real quick. Yeah. So he, like, takes out a bunch of soldiers with a Gatling gun, and then Joe is just kind of, like, watching in the distance. And as soon as, like, they leave, he kind of grabs two of the nicer-looking bodies and takes them to a cemetery and sets them up. He basically, like, gives information to both sides that there were some, like, surviving soldiers. So they, like, go and check it out, which starts a little, like, shoot-off. And yeah. Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah, so the Rojos capture John Baxter, the sheriff's son, Antonio. And so while that's going on, while they're, like, fighting at the graveyard, Joe ends up knocking out the woman who was being like held hostage, the mother we saw earlier in the movie. Turns out that she's basically being held hostage because the one of the Rojo brothers is like madly in love with her and just decided to kidnap her. So basically they organize a trade and they trade off. And when that happens, like, the son is outside and he comes and he starts making a scene. And the Rojos are like, hey, we told you to, like, get out of here. What are you still doing here? We're gonna kill you now. To the father. But Joe is there and he kind of, like, signifies that he's gonna protect this guy. And they're like, oh, well, we can't really mess with him. He's too fast. We'll just leave it be. So, that happens, and then, what happens next? Let me try to remember. Reading the bio here. There are the plot synopsis. Let's see. Oh. So, he basically we find out what happened to the husband. He had been, like, framed for cheating in a card game where Marisol, the wife, was taken prisoner. And then that night while they're celebrating, Joe decides to, like, ride out into the trees and starts, like, shooting some of the guards, wrecking the house. And the main Rojo, like, the villain of the film, who is played by... Oh, what is his name? Oh, where is he? I was on his page earlier. I'm gonna, like, slaughter the pronunciation of this Italian name. Gian Maria Volonte, I think is how you pronounce it. But he plays the villain.
Gian Maria Volonte, yeah. I believe so.
He plays the villain in this and the next movie.
Yeah. He's okay in this, I guess, but...
Yeah, he was good in the next movie.
The second one, yeah.
Yeah, he I will admit he has much more of a presence and for a few dollars more. And he was originally going, like, that's who Sergio Leone wanted to cast as the Ugly, but he turned down the part, so then he went and got the other guy. But, yeah, so while he's out of town, Joe, like, shoots at one of the guards and knocks him out, and then he goes and he gets Marisol, and he, like, shoots all the rest of the people who are inside. And, yeah, he basically, like, takes her to her family, and he gives them, like, all the money he's gotten up until this point. He's like, just go. Get out of here. And they're like, how can we repay you? And he's like, don't focus on it. Just focus on getting out of here. So they leave. And then the Rojos discover that, like, for freedom, they get back to town, so they capture and torture him.
They, like, beat the shit out of him, and he's like, I'm dying!
Yeah, but then he's, like, left alone for a minute where he somehow manages to get a giant barrel.
A giant barrel on its side at the top of, like, this fucking runway.
Yeah.
And as soon as they walk in,
yeah, and it instantly, like, kills just the two guys who walk in.
That was a really funny, like, shot. Like, the way it looks. Because it's obviously, like, they weren't actually there. Like, it's obviously, like, cut together.
Yeah.
It was just kind of fun looking.
This part confuses me because he's like, he can't walk. He's just been crawling this whole time. It's like, how did he get that up there? How did he set up this whole trap? I don't get it, but yeah, so that happens. And then he kind of like crawls out of the room and waits around a corner while the men go in and like investigate. And then he like lights the fire. And he basically just crawls out and hides in a coffin for a little while. He sees that they're beating up on the innkeeper because they're trying to figure out where he went, and they think he knows, but he doesn't. And then, the man who makes the coffins...
Piripero!
Oh, yeah.
His name's Piripero!
Yeah.
He's in the second movie as well, or the actor.
Yeah, he is.
He's amazing in the second.
Yeah. But, so, he gets, like, ridden out of town, but not before we see that the Baxter family just gets massacred. Because they think they're hiding him. And it's like, ooh. Yikes. I don't like that part. It's like, ooh.
Got him.
But anyway, so he basically, like, hides out for a little while, kind of trains, gets better. And then we find out that they had abducted the innkeeper. So he's just like, alright, well, I guess I'll go now. So he goes to town and he basically just shoots the rest of the people that are there. It's pretty short-lived. It's not, like, super drawn out or anything. Like, and then, yeah, he shoots the main Rojo brother who had been causing him trouble, and then, or Rojo brother, and then the other Rojo, the last remaining one, is, like, in a window about to shoot at Joe, but the innkeeper shoots him before he can, and he falls. And then, we find out that both, the United States and Mexico government are, like, coming here, and so, for, like, the gold, and he's, like, asked if he's gonna stay, and he's like, oh, whoa, in between, like, the two governments? No, there's no way. That'd be too dangerous. And he leaves. And that's the end of this movie. Yep. Yeah, I don't think it's, like, amazing, but I thought it was a bit more entertaining than, for a few dollars more personally, but...
And personally, I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I'm better than... No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
No, it's mostly... I just think the writing in this is really bad. Like, I think all the characters are pretty stale. Yeah, like, even the man with no name also has, like, no personality. Got him.
True. He's pretty just, like, supposed, like, badass, quote-unquote character who, kind of comes and saves 1 to 3 people in this town, but kind of gets, like, have the town, like, slaughtered, so it's like...
Yeah, he's like, hey, I've ruined the entire town. Also, I just feel like this movie, I was really worried because this movie felt like its direction was pretty like voiceless. It just kind of felt, how should I put this? Kind of, I guess, generic in its like execution. I was a little worried because I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I want a director's voice to be heard through their movies, and I never heard Leone's voice. Or is it Leone?
I think it's Leone.
Okay. Sergio Leone. I wanted Leone's voice to come through the film. I like it when directors, you can tell, it's their film. You can feel their presence. And I never felt that presence in this movie. So it just kind of like, I was just pretty bored with it. I didn't think it was super well directed. It looked really nice. And I think the performances were pretty good. Some of the dubbing was pretty bad, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's just like
that's just how it is. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I thought there were some good sequences. I like the part with the barrel. I like most of the gunfights, but just everything in between, I just wasn't a big fan of.
I get it. And I dock this film major points now that I know that it's just like a rip-off of Yojimbo.
And I mean, like,
part of what I liked about this movie more than for a few dollars more was the plot. Like, I thought the plot was more interesting, a bit more ambitious, but now that I know that it's just, like, ripped off from another movie, takes away from that, obviously.
And I like Magnificent Seven at the very least. I think some of the characters are pretty interesting. I know you haven't seen it, but like,
yeah,
I don't like really dock it for points because it does feel like enough of its own thing that I'm like fine with it.
Mm-hmm. I could say if this like feels independent from that movie or not, but seeing how it lost a lawsuit, my guess is probably not.
Yeah. I don't know. What would you rate this film?
Probably a 5.
I thought you... Whoa, do you not... I would also give it a 5.
Well, when I said, like, my dynamic switched, I meant, like... I didn't mean, like, I thought, like, this was, like, moved up to, like, one of my favorite westerns. I just meant, like, in terms of, like, my likability of the trilogy.
But, yeah, so this worries me that you're gonna, like, be like, the next movie, 3 out of 10.
Oh, no, not like that, no.
Alright, so the next movie, we're actually not even introduced to the man with no name for a while.
Yeah, we follow, Colonel Douglas Mortimer, who is played...
Douglas is such a funny name.
Yeah, who is played by, Lee Van Cleef.
He's really good in this movie.
He is. This is my favorite role of his out of, like, what I've seen between, like, his movies, but, yeah, so basically he's on a train, and he wants to stop in this town, but the train doesn't stop there, and he's like, oh, it's gonna stop there. And he just pulls, like, the emergency brake and gets off. And he finds a wanted poster that has, like, a couple of extra zeros written on it, because the bounty had, like, come across it and decided he was worth more. So he takes that poster, and he basically goes and hunts down that guy real quick. And, yeah, that's our introduction to him, and then we see that he finds, while he's collecting on that bounty, he sees the bounty poster for Indio, who just broke out of prison, which we see, and they, like, slaughter all of, like, the jailers there, except for, like, one of them, and, yeah, so... He has a personal vendetta against Indio, which we'll get into throughout the movie. But yeah, so jumping over to Clint Eastwood's character in this movie, they call him Manco. That's like, he's just a professional bounty hunter. He also gets a bounty. He, like, goes into a bar and kills a couple guys. Yeah, catches out on that, and is also deciding to go after Indio. So, let's see. Basically, they both Mortimer and Manco, like, show up in the same town. And they kind of catch wind of each other. So in one scene, they kind of, like, sniff each other out by, like, shooting each other's hats. It's a pretty fun scene. I like this scene quite a bit.
Yeah. This scene's... I really... The main reason I like this film so much more than its predecessor is I feel like this film has, like... Like I said, it feels like there's presence. It feels at least original. Like, it's... A lot of Westerns, you know, they just go... They're just, like, the
Tropes.
same structure kind of thing. And it's like, whatever, I can deal with it. But all I want from a Western is I need good characters, and I really think that both the characters in this are a lot more interesting than the first.
Yeah, I can see your perspective on that.
And I really like their scenes together, the way they have chemistry together. It's very interesting, the way they play off each other.
Yeah, I don't know about their dynamic on this movie, but I know that in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Clint Eastwood personally was very, like, apparently, like, the film's shooting was, like, postponed because they had to, like, work out his pay because he really didn't want to do this movie because he's like, it's an ensemble piece. I want the spotlight. And it's like, ugh.
Clint Eastwood's a bit of a dick.
He is.
Actually, not even a bit. He's a dick.
Yeah. But...
Just sad, because he was really sexy in this movie.
Yeah. I don't know. Personally, I think between the two, Lee Van Cleef. But
I do too, but I like more, like, defined facial features. I like more interesting faces.
To be fair,
like,
out of, like, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, though, I think that the ugly is not ugly. Like,
yeah, I don't think any of the three are ugly.
Yeah. It's like, what? Like, he's just deemed the ugly one as, like, I think he's probably, like, perhaps the most, like, attractive out of the three, perhaps? I don't know. Hard to say, but...
I wasn't a fan of the mustache, but he's a pretty attractive young fellow.
Yes.
He's dead now, but...
Oh, he is? Fuck. I didn't know.
Yeah, he died when he was, like, 60. He died in 94. He died 26 years
ago. Damn. But anyway, so... Yeah, so basically, while this was going on, Mortimer had, like, been looking for a bank to deposit his money in, and he wanted to, like, find the most secure bank he could. I like this scene as well, because he's talking to, like, a dude at a bank. He's like, suppose I'm part of a violent gang of criminals, and I want to rob the most, like, fortified bank there is. And the dude, like, closes the safe, and he's like, well...
He's like, yeah, you want to go to the one in El Paso.
Yeah. So... he goes to the El Paso bank, which is one that Indio is planning to rob because he heard a story about this, like, metal safe that's, like, disguised to look like a wood cabinet. So, yeah. Basically, Manco and Mortimer, after their little hat shoot-off, decide, hey, we could team up and just, like, split the bounty however we see fit. They talk about, like, basically, like, one of them will get Indio's bounty and one of them will just get, like, all of his men, which will add up to be, like, a little more than Indio's bounty, but more or less the same. So, yeah, so basically they make a plan where one of them needs to infiltrate their gang, and they decide Manco is the one who has to do it because Mortimer had already had a run-in with one of the gang members.
Klaus Kinski.
Klaus Kinski.
I wonder if he went like a psychopath on the set in this one.
Probably. It seems like he was a crazy guy all around, and his character is a pretty crazy guy in this movie. The Great Silence, or whatever it's called.
No, I was going to say the documentary that Werner Herzog made about him after he died. Being like, yeah, he was a fucking psychopath.
Yeah. I want to watch The Great Silence, because he stars in that one.
There's also a movie he directed called Kinski Paganini, where he's like, it's like a biopic about Niccolo Paganini, who was like apparently known as the devil violinist because he was so good, but he was like crazy. And Kinski was like, yeah, he's me. I'm him. Kinski was actually insane.
It sounds like it. Yeah, anyway. Would you mind taking over for a minute? I've drinking a lot of water today, and I have to go to the bathroom.
Are you okay?
Like I said, I've drinking a lot of water today.
Okay, what was the last thing you said?
Basically that, Manco has to infiltrate, because, Mortimer had a run-in with Kinski's character.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I shall return.
Okay. So their plan is to, a quote from Mortimer, get him between two fires. So they're... To infiltrate the gang, Manco goes to a prison and breaks out a friend of Indio's that was supposed to serve for like 4 years. So he breaks him out and brings him there so he can be like, hey, let's do it. Let's go. Yeehaw. And they let him in. Some of them aren't very trustworthy, including Indio, who is so good in this movie. I just want to say, Indio, played by the same guy who played the villain in the first movie, but he's so much better in this. Not necessarily because the acting was bad in the first one, just because the writing. Like, he's an interesting character, he's fun, but he's also, like, depressed. He's just kind of there. He's interesting. He's popping. So, Indio's like, okay, we're going to rob the bank in El Paso, but we're also going to rob another bank. So he sends Manco and 3 others to rob a bank in Santa Cruz. And they start walking there, but they like camp for the night, and then Manco fucking just guns them down. And then he sends like a false telegraph alarm so that the El Paso sheriff and his posse will ride to Santa Cruz. So there will be nobody guarding the El Paso safe. And then Clint Eastwood, Manco, goes to El Paso and hides with Mortimer. He sees them and they're getting ready for like an ambush when suddenly like, they went behind the bank. That wasn't supposed to happen. And they blow a fucking hole in the wall and they drag out the safe and they just like ride off. And they're like, well, fuck. So like, okay, we need another plan.
Yeah, so, Mortimer shoots, Manco in the neck, but just, like, grazes him. He's like, look, you need to...
Yeah, because Manco was originally like, they're like, okay, we gotta go, we gotta, like, infiltrate back in. And he's like, I'm going myself. And he's like, are you sure about that? And he pulls out a gun and he shoots him in the neck.
Yep. And he's basically like, well, see, maybe now they'll potentially believe that you got shot at. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. So he basically goes back, and despite the objection of some of Indio's crew, Indio basically allows it. And it's because he's got a plan hatching of his own. But basically, they arrive in this town, and so the plan was they wanted Mortimer and Manco had discussed like trying to send him up north, but he basically, as soon as he got with like reunited with the gang, he was like, okay, let's go south. But then Indio was like, actually, we're gonna go east. And Mortimer had like calculated all of this, so he ends up meeting them in a town to the east. And he basically like shows up and he's like, alright, I can help you guys open that safe without like destroying any of the money that's in there. So he opens up the safe for him, And basically they agree they have to, like, lay low in the town for, like, a month before they can, like, dish out the money. And they all, like, agree to it. But, let's see. Basically, that night, they, like, figure out, it's like, oh, yep, they're bounty hunters. So, they, like, capture them and beat them up. But,
Clint Eastwood gets beat up in every single one of these movies.
Oh, yes. So,
probably because he's an idiot, got him.
Yeah. It's like, well, he's got to get some sort of, face some sort of repercussions for his idiotic decisions in each movie. But yeah, so basically Indio that night tells one of his men to, like, basically let them go and send them out without their guns loaded. And he's like, oh, why? He's like, I've got a plan, don't worry. And basically he sends most of his men to get slaughtered by them so he can keep the money to himself. Which is what happens. But one of the men shows up and he's like, I'm not dumb like the rest of the men. I know what you're doing. You're not gonna fucking pull a fast one on me, guy. But basically, that's short-lived because, Monko and Mortimer, like, show up and, they're gonna kill Indio, so they go out and, have the final battle, which is, one of my favorite sequences in the movie. So, oh, fuck, hold on.
No, fuck. Oh, Thomas, you're dying! Oh, God!
Oh, I don't know what happened there. I just got, like, a major, like, frog in my throat, though.
Oh, shit. First they rain from the sky, then they go into your throat.
Yeah. Anyway, so, basically, Mortimer ends up in a position where, like, Indio has his, like, gun drawn on him, and he's, like, pointing at him. And, it seems like, oh, this is not a good situation for him. But, they agree. It's like, alright, when the music on this locket stops playing, we're gonna, like, shoot each other. And as soon as, like, that tune ends, you hear another tune start. And you look over and there's Manco. He's standing there and he had stolen Mortimer's pocket watch. And did you explain, the connection between, like, the pocket watches while I was gone?
No, I did not. I totally forgot about that.
Okay. So basically, Indio was, like, obsessively in love with, Mortimer's sister and, like, went in and, like, killed her husband one night, and he had, like, her husband had, like, had these two, pocket watches that, like, play this little tune, and they had, like, pictures in them. And that night, like, Indio decided, like, after he killed, her husband, he was gonna, like, rape her, and she ended up, like, shooting herself. And so he, like, took the pocket watch, and, Mortimer took the other after, and, kind of kept it. But anyway, so Manco had, like, taken it off of him, and, it was basically like, alright, when this tune ends, you can do it. And he, like, goes over and he gives, Mortimer, like, his gun, since his gun is, like, knocked down on the ground. And, yeah, so the song ends, and, Mortimer shoots Indio in the lung, and he kind of, like, falls over on some rocks and dies. And then Mortimer takes Indio's watch, and, yeah, he basically just goes, yeah, you can have all of it. I don't care. I just wanted to kill him, mostly. So, he starts to leave.
The best part of the movie.
Yes, the best part of it. So Mount goes over and he's, like, counting the bodies, and he's like,
He's, like, counting by how much they're worth. He's like, okay, so, like, 5,000, 15,000, 17,000.
The
he gets
one
to 22,000. He's like, wait a minute. And sneakily behind him is, was it Groggy? Is that who it was?
Yeah.
It was one of the last guys. He's, like, sneaking up to shoot him, and he, like, suddenly Monko just turns around and shoots him. He's like, 27,000.
Mortimer calls out, he's like, everything alright over there? And he's like, yeah, I thought I was having a problem with my adding, but it's alright now. And, yeah. You know, talking about this one, I think has warmed me up to it a little more. because, like I said, learning that like the other one had ripped off that Akira Kurosawa movie, docked at some points.
I do really want to see that Kurosawa film.
So do I. I really want to see all of Kurosawa's films.
One thing about this I didn't say. I know we already mentioned Morricone, and all his music's really great in this.
The soundtrack.
I thought the music was good in the first one. I wasn't like super, like nothing really wowed me in the first one. This is the one that was like, I was like,
I personally think
great.
that out of the three, this one has my favorite soundtrack.
I would agree.
And I think the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly soundtrack is also very great, but this one has like just some of my... I love the like pocket watch theme. I love the main theme, the...
Hello?
Oh, did you not hear that? I was whistling. It might not have carried through the Discord.
I didn't hear the whistle. I thought you just cut out.
Oh, it might have cut out through the Discord because they have that thing where they like drown out background noise or...
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I would give this one a 6, honestly.
I'm going to give this one an 8. I really like this one. I had a ton of fun with this one. Like I said, I really like the two main characters. I really like the villain. The score is my favorite. I like the score in the third one, but it feels like it was like a really good song and then like some songs that were pretty decent. But this one, it's like every single track. I'm like, this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
I also just like the overall look of everything a lot more than in the first one. I think it's just maybe it was a higher budget.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, these films got
think in
a
general,
higher budget for everyone, I'm pretty sure, because, let's see.
That's obvious in the third one.
Yeah, the third one, definitely. By that point, it was like, they needed the high budget, not only for the effects, but also to pay Clint Eastwood.
Sergio Leone had made a fourth in the Man with No Name, he would have like been launching like missiles. He's like, you know what, we can afford it.
Yeah, I don't know if Clint Eastwood particularly liked working with him because Sergio Leone didn't speak English, so they had to communicate through a translator. So I'm not saying like anything about that. I was just saying like seeing the kind of guy that Clint Eastwood is, I could see him taking like, fuck this, I can't even speak the director. Huh? Oh, yeah.
Someone that doesn't speak English. I don't like that.
But, yeah. Seeing how much he, like, basically, like, expected to be paid, I see why he stopped making westerns with him after The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, he just directed his own. Yeah.
And then, fucking Sergio Leone went on to, like, make more westerns, and I want to see Once Upon a Time in New York too, which
I've
is
heard
like
that one's fantastic. It's 4 hours long.
It's super long, but I might pick that one of these days.
Cool.
Not anytime super soon, since we just covered these movies, but eventually.
Yeah, but no, I did really enjoy the second one. I forgot. Have you seen Josie Wales?
No.
You should. Mr. Eric Bankston told me to watch it.
Ah, yes. I like how you call him out full name on
Whoa! Whoops.
Alright. Let's talk about the third movie.
Yes.
The worst movie I have ever seen.
Do you really feel that way?
No. Are you kidding me? We have watched Ghostmates, Splatter, and Last of the Living on the podcast.
Fair.
And I'm sure I'm thinking of something. Let's see. Is there anything else I'm missing?
We've probably watched something else bad. I think we have. I can't remember what it is. Let me look. Oh, yeah. We watched Magnolia.
We watched fucking Trooper.
Oh, yes, the Trooper. I forgot about the Trooper.
We watched Who's Driving Doug.
We did.
Do you remember Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas? That
Barely,
was the worst.
But I remember that episode. Oh man, all of those fucking movies, those Christmas movies. Oof. The fucking,
That was a rough episode.
That was.
Because the one before that, we also did Christmas stuff, right?
The one before
the one
that
we
was
had
Hero
Krampus?
in Bomb City.
Oh.
Yeah, we did Christmas episodes after. We did Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life, and the Krampus.
I had fun with that episode.
Yeah, that
Miracle
episode
on
was better.
34th Street was weird, but man, that episode though, with all the fucking Mickey stuff, that fucking broke me.
Yeah, it's just like we had to watch all of those. I forgot the name of the stop motion movies that they typically.
Rankin and Bass.
Rankin and Bass, yes. That was shortly after our Ingmar Bergman episode.
Yeah, because they're pretty similar in themes.
Yeah,
okay.
Totally.
I really gotta take a massive shit now because I was eating during this episode, so you're welcome to start Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Okay. And I'm gonna go make my own Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in the toilet. Got 'em.
Awesome. Anyway, so this movie starts off with one of our main characters, Eli Wallet. He plays the Ugly, or Tuco is his character's name. So Tuco basically is being hunted down by a couple men who he shoots. Then we are introduced to another one of our main characters, the Bad, who is called Angel Eyes throughout the movie. He's played by Lee Van Cleef. And when we meet up with his character, he is interrogating a man. He's looking for... I forget the guy's original name, but he's looking for a man who has changed his name. And the man who he's talking to is very hesitant to give out his new name. And he asks how much he was paid to basically do this job that he's doing. And he says $500. So the man pulls out $1,000 and he's like, hey, here you go. And he's like, nice try, but I'm a man of my word, so when I get paid to do a job, I see it through. So he shoots the guy and his son, who comes around the corner after learning the man's name is Bill Carson. Yes, that is the fake name he is going under. And he also learns that they've got their hands mixed up in something about a huge lot of gold coins. So he goes back, Angel Eyes talks to the man who basically paid him to find the information. He gives him the information, but he also explains, he's like, while I was there, he told me, he gave me $1,000, and I think he was trying to imply that I should kill you, and, me being a man of my word, I always see the job through, so he kills that guy. And then he goes about on his quest to find this gold. And Bill Carson. So, while this is going on, we jump back to Tuco. And he is being cornered by 3 bounty hunters out in the desert. But Blondie shows up, and that's Clint Eastwood's character in this one. And he shoots the bounty hunters and takes Tuco in and turns him in himself. And while Tuco is being hanged, Blondie shoots him down. And then they ride out into the desert, where they split the money. Take a drink real quick. So, this happens. And, it turns out his bounty has gone up to 3,000. So, they do it again. And, this time it's a bit messier, though. What's it called? He ends up shooting him down, but, the horse gets spooked and runs away, so he has to, like, run and jump on Blondie's horse, and they have to share a horse out of there. While this is going on, Angel Eyes is in the same town, and he basically gets some intel on where Bill Carson was staying and who he had been with. And he was with some, like, prostitute or something like that. So he goes to this woman and basically, like, he's like, okay, where's Bill? And she basically explains, like, oh, he just went to go fight in the Civil War. I don't know, like, where. He's just there. And yeah, so he goes about trying to find Bill Carson. So, Blondie and Tuco are out in the desert, where Blondie basically dissolves their partnership because he thinks that Tuco is never going to be worth more than $3,000. So he takes the $3,000 and just leaves him out in the desert alone. And he's like, well, it's a 70-mile walk to the nearest town. If you, save your breath, you might be able to make it there. So he leaves, and basically Tuco, like, curses him out and tells him if he ever, you shouldn't leave him alive if you double-cross him, because he'll find his way back, which he does. So Tuco, like, basically walks out of the desert and finds his way back to civilization. Then he robs a gun store, gets himself a nice little gun, and then he hides out in a cave where he gets a visit from, like, some of his old friends, and he basically sends them to try and kill Blondie. He figures out where he is, but, the men's spurs kind of give them away. And then, while Blondie kind of, like, shoots them, Tuco took this opportunity to, like, climb through the window and points the gun at him. So he makes him, like, get up on on a chair and has him, like, set up a noose. And, he's basically, like, threatening to shoot the legs out from under the chair when, some commotion from outside sends a cannonball through the wall, which, sends Tuco down to the, like, bottom floor, and, Blondie escapes.
I'm back!
Welcome back.
We talked about Song Kang Ho yet?
No. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly, not the good, the bad, and the weird.
Yeah, but don't you wish it was the good, the bad, and the weird?
I like both films quite a bit. So I don't know. I didn't have, like, a desire. Like, I wasn't like, oh man, I wish I was watching The Good, the Bad, the Weird right now. But that is a good movie. I do enjoy that one.
It wasn't necessarily that I was, like, wishing that I was watching it, but I was mostly, like, just like, I want to watch that movie again.
I feel it. But anyway. So, basically, let's see. I'm trying to remember what happens. Basically, Tuco recaptures Blondie and then forces him to, like, go through a desert. And it's here where, like, right as Blondie is on the cusp of death, a horse wagon, like, comes by, just barreling by, and Tuco stops at last second. He opens it up, and it's just full of a bunch of, like, dead men. They were Northerners, weren't they, if I remember correctly? I think so. Not that it really matters to the overall plot, but,
Well, don't they take their...
Huh?
They take their, coats, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so they were the Confederates.
Confederates. Yeah, that's right. So these were Confederates. Yeah, so, basically, like, Tuco pulls out one of the men who's still alive, and he's like, what the heck? And the dude's like, I know where gold is. It's in, Sad Hill Cemetery. The name of the grave, but he's, like, struggling because he doesn't have any water. So Tuco's like, hold on, I'll go grab you some water so you can tell me the name of the grave. And while he's grabbing the water, Blondie has crawled his way over and gotten the information before the man keeled over dead. So each one of them has a piece of the information, but they refuse to give it to each other. So basically, Tuco is like, ah, shit, I gotta get this money. So he takes Blondie to the nearest town where there's a like a church kind of place. I don't know what you would call this.
Yeah, no, it was a church or something similar.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, dude, yeah, come on in, bro, the doodaloo.
Yep. Basically, over a course of a few days, Blondie gets better, and Tuco meets his brother there, who is like a priest, and they have a little confrontation, and we find out that Tuco's father died a little bit before. And that's where his brother had been the last few days. And basically he kind of like scolds him for like the life he leads. And then Tuco leaves with Blondie. And on his way out, he's just bragging. He's like, oh, my brother, he's such a great guy. Loves me so much. I could barely get him off me. And of course, Blondie was like eavesdropping, so he knows what really happened. But yeah, so they're riding in the wagon. And then they see some military coming up ahead, and they're like, oh, what color are the suits? And they look, and they're like, oh, they're grays, just like us. Yeah, we love Robert E. Lee, yeah! And then, turns out it's just a bunch of dusty, northerners.
Yeah, this was a good part.
Yeah, so they get taken
They're
to...
just like, they stop, they start staring at them, and then he just starts, like, hitting his fucking shirt until it becomes blue again.
Yeah. And then, anyway, so they get taken to, like, a prisoner of war camp, where they meet Angel Eyes, who, basically starts interrogating Tuco, and then beats the shit out of him, and he gets the name of the cemetery. And then Blondie, he's like, alright, well, what's the name of the grave? He's like, I don't know, Blondie knows. So they bring Blondie in. And,
he's like, you gonna beat me up too? And he's like, no.
I could, but would it really serve a purpose? Like, you probably won't tell me because it's the only leverage you have over me, so... Might as well just, split it. Same deal you had with Tuco, except it's with me. So, they, like, take off. But, meanwhile, Tuco's, like, being taken by, like, one of his other guys on a train, but he, like, hops off and kills the guy. Like, by bashing his head against a rock. And then he, like, puts him on a train, or puts him on the train tracks and, like, waits for a train to come by to, like, break the handcuffs that he's cuffed to him with. And, then he heads towards Green Hill. Or Sad Hill, my bad. What is Green? That's like Sonic, isn't it? Green Hill Zone?
Yeah, Green Hill Zone. I'm like, yeah, he goes to Green Hill, he has to go to Sonic, and then they both go to Olive Garden.
Yeah. Anyway, so... what's it called? Yeah, so basically Tuco catches up with them, but basically Blondie assumes that, like, as soon as he gets the information, he's gonna be killed by these guys, because it turns out there's more than just Angel Eyes. He's got a little gang with him, so he ends up, like, leaving for a little while, and Angel Eyes sends one of his men after him, who Blondie kills, and then he meets up with Tuco again, and he's like, alright, Tuco, you and me, let's go.
There's 5 of them, we gotta...
Yeah. So they work together, and they take out the guys, and then, going about their merry way, they find their way back to where, like, Angel Eyes was hiding, but he just leaves a note, and he's like, I'll see you there, idiots. And it's like, okay. So they get going, and then they end up wandering into, territory, and, oh god, I wasn't paying attention to the colors on the suits. I think they were in Northerner territory. Let me pull it up real quick. Slag over here. Just need to see the color. Yeah. So they end up on the Northerner side this time. And, basically, like, they make up the lie. They're like, oh, we want to enlist. And some dude's like, let me tell you. You guys can enlist, but you just gotta get drunk. Like, alcohol, that's what this war is. Both sides have just a bunch of drunk men killing each other. It's great. And he's, like, very, very enthusiastic about this. He's like, yeah, it's awesome. I love it. And then, basically, like, a battle breaks out on the bridge. And they're like, oh, shit, we have to get across the lake that's where, Sad Hill is. So they're like, oh, let's just take some explosives and blow up the bridge. So they carry down some explosives and they blow up the bridge. And they wait it out and then eventually cross when it's clear. And, they find their way to Sad Hill. Basically, okay. So, like, while they were blowing up the bridge, Tuco was like, alright, I have a proposal. We'll exchange information. And he's like, alright, fine. So, Tuco gives up the name of the place, Sad Hill, first, and then Blondie gives away, a name. The name of the grave, which is Arch Stanton.
Yeah, Arch Stanton. I couldn't remember it. I was like, Al Bundy.
Yeah, I have the wiki pulled up and it was right there. Yeah, so basically he's like, okay, so then Tuco tries to run off, so Blondie fires a cannon and then Tuco ends up in the graveyard, and then he runs around while Ecstasy of Gold plays. Great track.
Great track.
And then he finds the Arch Stanton grave, and he starts digging it up. And then Blondie shows up and gives him a shovel and goes, here, this will make it easier. And then Angel Eyes shows up and tosses another shovel, and he's like, hey, it'll be easier if two men dig. And then Blondie's like, nah. He's like, what do you mean?
Nah.
He's like, let me show you why. And he kicks open the grave, and it turns out that there is a dead body in there. He's like, this still isn't the grave. You think I'd trust you, Tuco? Yeah, right. So he's like, alright, look, here's how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna write the name on this rock, I'm gonna place it in the middle, and we're gonna have a shoot-off. So they do it, and they have the shoot-off. It's one of those things that you just kind of have to see. Very tension-filled, goes on for a little bit.
The cinematography in this few shots is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good shots. Like, most of the movie looks pretty nice, but man, I really like the overshot. Like, it looks like they're on a small, like, clearing above them, like, looking down at them. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, no, this whole, like, graveyard sequence, like, from the second they enter the graveyard till, like, the end of the film is, like, great stuff. I love this. But yeah, so they have the shoot-off, and basically Tuco's gun isn't loaded, and then Blondie shoots Angel Eyes, and then he shoots his gun into the grave, and then he shoots his hat into the grave, and then he walks over, and he's like, alright, start digging. Or he has a line, he's like, there are two kinds of men in this world. The men who dig and the men with guns, or something like that.
The Batman and the Joker.
Yeah, so he's basically like, alright, it's the unknown grave next to Arch Stanton's. So, Tuco digs it up, there's gold, and then he's like excited, and he's like down on the ground on his knees, like digging around in the gold. He's like, we did it, Blondie, it's all for us. And he like looks up, and then his smile fades as he sees a noose waiting for him. And Blondie's got the gun pointing, he's like, alright, hop on. He's like, oh, come on. Like, you're kidding me, right? Like, for real? And he's like, oh, for real. So he stands up on this little, like, wooden cross on the grave and puts his neck through the noose and gets his hands tied behind his back, and Blondie starts to ride off. And he leaves him his share of gold. And then Blondie turns around. Yeah, he's the good guy. And then Blondie turns around after a little while, after riding some distance away, and shoots the rope. And, like, Tuco falls to the ground, and he, like, chases him, and he's like, Blondie, you son of a bitch! But it gets cut off by the soundtrack. And, Blondie rides away, and the movie ends.
Man, I really wanted Blondie just to fucking kill him.
I
was
feel
like, yeah. Like, there was a part earlier where
they list his offenses.
Well, no, he had Blondie in the noose.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, instead of shooting the rope, I'm gonna shoot the chair, like the chair legs. So I just thought he was gonna like shoot the gravestone that Blondie was like
or that Tuco? What? Tuco, right?
Yeah.
Tuco was on. Like, I thought that would be like a nice callback. He's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna shoot the rope. I'm gonna shoot the ground beneath you." But then no, he just let him go again. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Literally, like, almost killed you like 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, I will,
But he's
to
the good guy.
Tuco's credit, as the film went on, he did kind of, like... I'm not saying Tuco's a good guy. Like, obviously, he's not. We heard his list of offenses.
Yeah, he's bad,
which were
man.
very egregious. But, like, in terms of, like, what he did to Blondie, like, really, it was Blondie who was the aggressor in the relationship. He's the one who, like, ditched their partnership and just left him out in the desert, and then... I mean, Tuco came back and tried to get revenge, and then basically, like, once they teamed up again, Tuco was pretty nice to him, minus the part where he ran off and got shot at by the cannon. Like, he did give him the name of the cemetery, at the very least. But, yeah, he leaves him alive. He's still tied up, though, so... And he doesn't have a horse to carry out all of his gold on. But, yeah... That's the movie. Yeah, I like this one. It's still one of my favorites. I would give this one a 7 out of 10.
I would also give this one a 7. While I do like it quite a lot, I think that the characters kind of take a backpedaling again. I think that the Ugly, he has a pretty fun character. He's pretty goofy. He's pretty well defined.
Yeah,
but like
he's enjoyable to watch for sure.
I think the Good and the Bad, while both well acted, I just didn't.
There wasn't much there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want there to be substance in the characters I watch in a Western, because Westerns, unfortunately, are my least favorite genre right now. I don't want them to be.
Play Red Dead 2, that, like, I was expecting it just to be cowboys. Holy shit, the characterization in that game has been fucking top-notch so far. It's been great.
I've heard it's a pretty great story. And just writing in general. And, like, I wanted to love this movie, but I also just thought I don't think it needed to be 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a little long. Like the
I
first 90 minutes are basically
movies.
just setting up Tuco and Blondie's kind of rivalry, and I feel like that could have been cut a little short.
There's a part of me that I'm like, I don't even really need, like, I don't know if this needed to be like, this could have just been like 2 movies. Like, I kind of just liked it when it was just Tuca and Blondie, like, chasing after each other. It reminded me of, like, fucking a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah, like a Roadrunner and a Wile E. Coyote or something.
It just, at some points the film feels overstuffed, but what's sad about that is, like, I didn't get any characterization.
I feel it's a lot
but
of...
I do...
A lot of events, not a lot of, like...
Yeah.
Development.
But I do think, I think the writing is better than, especially, at least the first one.
Yeah.
I think most of the, like, soundtrack's still great, and I think the cinematography is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I wish that we could have gotten, like, one scene for each of them, because we get, like, a nice characterization scene for Tuco with his brother, where we kind of get some, like, insight into, like, his character a bit, but we don't really get that with Blondie or Angel Eyes. They're just kind of...
Yeah.
Who they are, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like one scene, maybe, like, if, like, Blondie had a scene where he, like, tells, like, even if it's just, like, through exposition, like, maybe him and Tuco have a conversation about, like, a thing from his past or something. I don't know. So it's something to grasp onto, but nah, I guess it's not the thing that the man with no name goes for.
But it is what it is. I still really liked it. Like you said, we both gave it a 7. But I do think, for a few dollars more, I think my favorite Western currently. Unless I'm forgetting one. It was Josie Wales, but I just want to watch some good Westerns. But I did watch 2, so cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, next week, I know I brought this up to you, but this is what's happening. We're going to be watching a one-season series, The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yes. Okay. I totally forgot. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember him mentioning it. What was the series? But yeah, The 13 Ghosts. Are we going to watch the movie, too, or just the series? And we're going to watch
The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo from 1985. It's 13 episodes. And we're also going to be watching Scooby-Doo, and is it The 13th Ghost? Hold on. And The Curse of the 13th Ghost from 2019.
Yeah, that wraps it up, kind of, from what I hear.
Yeah, I think it wraps it up pretty well. Like, even without seeing the series, I'm like, well, yeah, I'm sure it wraps it up. It helps tie into the Scooby-Doo continuity.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's all available on Boomerang, which is available in Verve if you have it. If not, it's everywhere else.
Yep.
Sure, you can find it pretty easily. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I've been meaning to watch 13 Ghosts since I saw the movie. I really like the movie as a standalone. I was also in a really big Scooby-Doo mood, so we'll see how I feel. I also just feel like I enjoy Scooby-Doo more than the average person. I was like, yeah, Scooby-Doo! So yeah, we shall see. I'm excited, though. And it'll be a nice change of pace, especially from like a Western. It's like, now I just get to watch Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah.
And Scrappy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Flim Flam.
A whole cast of characters to enjoy. And Daphne.
Yeah, and Daphne.
The dynamic of Shaggy, Scooby, and Daphne. It's going to be interesting.
I'm excited for that. It sounds pretty interesting. I don't know if they're able to do anything, but like, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, thanks everybody for listening or watching. Tell your grandma. Have a great day and be safe and all that jazz.
Yep. Adios.
All right. Adios. Ba-ba-ba.